So recently on September 11th, I got to see a concert. Dark Tranquillity, Warbringer, Striker, The Day of Night, Datura, and Kairos. And I just wanted to do a little review right quick because there are a lot of things that I can say about it. First of all, I brought back a few souvenirs, which are pretty awesome. I happened to catch two set lists, one for Striker and one from Dark Tranquillity. And interestingly enough, Dark Tranquillity, as I look at the set list, they didn't play anything off the Mind's Eye or the Gallery, which is pretty interesting considering that a lot of people expect to see songs from those albums played at shows. But I also happened to catch a guitar pick from Christopher Ament. Specifically, I went to the show to see Dark Tranquillity and Warbringer, two bands which a lot of friends of mine told me were really awesome live, and I'm here to confirm that. Especially considering that The Gallery is one of my favorite melodic death metal albums of all time, and Warbringer, they're fucking Warbringer. So, they played at the Motorco Music Hall in Durham, which is a pretty nicely decorated place. It can probably seat about 1,500 people. But there isn't a whole lot of room for merch stands, so it all has to be in a little corner near the entrance, which isn't bad, honestly, but, you know, for Obituary in a couple of days, you know, the line is going to be massive. This place also has its own parking lot, so that's very convenient. In fact, it was actually surprisingly easy to get out of that place after the show was over. Now, the place wasn't packed because they did play Charlotte the night before, but it was a pretty populated show, so, you know, I got this really good vibe being there. It's definitely one of the better shows I've been to recently. So the first band on the bill was The Day and Tonight, which is a death metal band from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I gotta say, to be the first band on the bill, those guys are pretty damn good. I mean, they're all young, but yeah, the music was tight, the drum sound was really awesome, the singer had some really awesome friggin' vocals, and his dad was in the audience, and they both seemed really cool. Next up were two local bands, Datura and Kairos. Datura is a death and thrash metal band from Raleigh, North Carolina, and they were pretty awesome, but I noticed a similarity between them and The Day and Tonight, which is that neither of them had a bass player. And they still sounded pretty good. I guess rule number 2 definitely holds its meaning. The bass player really is a useless cunt. There was no need for one on stage. The next band, Kairos, is also a local death metal band from North Carolina. They are a 5-piece, and the number of members definitely played a big part in their stage presence because there wasn't a whole lot of room for them to move on stage. There was all kinds of shit that Dark Tranquillity and Warbringer had behind them, so there wasn't a whole lot of running space or anything like that. But the singer was pretty cool. She was able to hit these really awesome low gutturals and everything that the other singers weren't able to do. So props to her for that. But, you know, the fun really started when Striker got on stage. That shit was awesome. You know, they had these little fog machines and everything on the side of the stage, and, you know, the stage got really colorful when they got on, and they were really fun. So Striker dresses up like your stereotypical thrash band, and you definitely get that vibe when you're listening to them and when you're seeing them live. You know, it's all bright and colorful and gnarly and everything, and, you know, the guitar players and the bass players, they of course use their instruments and they do all these tricks into the audience. You know, the bass player does this, like plays his bass up to his face, shoots it like a gun, you know, that type stuff. And the guitar player, he does kind of the same thing, like when he's soloing, you know, he'll solo and he'll point his guitar at all the hot chicks in the audience, which is very nice for me to look at. So I happened to catch their set list because this was under the PA system, and I was up front to the stage, got to see thrash metal in all of its glory, got to mosh a bit. And, you know, everybody was in a really good mood on stage. You know, everybody was smiling, having fun, and the engagement with the audience was pretty good. You know, the banter was really awesome, and they made everybody sing along. So the energy is definitely there. I can definitely see these guys touring with bigger bands because they deserve it. Next, we get to the badass motherfucker of the lineup, which is Warbringer! Yeah, this is the one that got everybody the most excited. There wasn't a mosh pit for Dark Tranquillity, but you better believe there was one for Warbringer. And for good reason. You know, the stage presence and the energy that these guys had, plus the heaviness of their music, it just brought a big smile to my face. They had a new album recently, and they played a bunch of songs off of that. Warbringer was also pretty engaging with the audience. You know, they had everybody circle pit, and there was a guy crowd surfing, which is the only crowd surfer that whole night. And they also made everybody scream along with the lyrics, so definitely, you know, everybody talks about how great of a live band Warbringer is, and they're right. They're pretty goddamn good. And, just like the guys in Striker, the guys in Warbringer were pretty awesome. I happened to catch a picture with the drummer. Super nice guy. And then we get to the beloved Dark Tranquillity. Yes! So Dark Tranquillity had a screen behind them, and they were playing all kinds of seasonal things, all kinds of scenic landscapes and nature and all kinds of stuff, and they were also playing the lyrics for people to sing along, which was helpful for people like me who I personally am not familiar with some of the newer stuff, but everybody in the band was dressed in black, so there was a solidarity between the members. And as far as the stage decor, the new album, Atoma, the keyboard, the guitar amplifiers, they're all decorated with artwork from the album. And once again, Dark Tranquillity was highly interactive with the audience. The banter was really good. The singer was really nice to everybody. He kept high-fiving people and shaking their hands on stage, and he even let this hot chick in the front row sing one of the choruses to one of the songs. But on top of that, the guitar players kept throwing picks into the audience. I happened to catch one that was thrown by Christopher Ament, because for some reason, I'm always catching things near the stage. I guess I'm lucky like that. But also there was this guy beside me who brought a Swedish flag to the show, and he handed it to Michael, and Michael was holding it as he was singing. So it was a perfect photographer moment for those who happen to take pictures. I mean, he was just very, very cool with the audience, and it was very nice to everybody. Now, as far as the set list goes, he made a big point about playing some songs that, you know, they hadn't had the chance to play live much before, but anyway, it just kind of surprises me that they didn't play anything off the Gallery or the Mind's Eye because they're such big albums. But regardless, it's a pretty cool set list, I think. And I gotta say, for my first time seeing them, I'm fucking impressed. I would definitely see them over and over again if I could. So what's the bottom line? If you have the chance to see Dark Tranquillity, Striker, and Warbringer on this tour, do it. You know, Dark Tranquillity, listening to them for a lot of years, you know, they never really struck me as one of those bands that would be highly energetic live, but seeing them last night, they definitely are. I mean, they're definitely a better live band than an album band, I think. I can proudly say that they surpassed my expectations. There wasn't really a mosh pit going on for Dark Tranquillity, but for Warbringer, it was pretty nuts. In fact, it's kind of weird that they're on the same tour together. Striker, Warbringer, and Dark Tranquillity, two thrash bands versus a melodic death metal band. The energy and the vibe is slightly off, but somehow it fits. Especially if you're like me and you like different types of metal, it shouldn't be an issue. Well, that's it for my review. I would definitely like to start doing more of these concert reviews because lately I'm finding that I'm spending less money on new albums and more money on concert tickets because it's just been a really great year for metal. You know, lots of new albums are coming out, lots of bands are touring, and since I made a big move in February, I am now in a place where the venues that these bands are playing are a lot easier and quicker to get to, so why not? I'm living life, and honestly, this is one of the best years I've personally had in a long damn time. But I hope you like this review, and if you haven't seen Dark Tranquillity or Warbringer live, go do it. Striker's pretty damn awesome too. Take care. Grind on.